I feel like the badminton world might be running on a little bit of fatigue right now. The players and like the kind of maybe the maybe the interest from the fans because there's just no end. No one gets a break and then gets to be like re-excited, reignited about something. It's kind of just like high stakes all the time, high stakes tournaments all year.
Is BWF really doing the very best to um, promote the highest performance in badminton, or is it just we do as much as possible and then whatever happens, happens?
Cool. Welcome back to ShuttleSquad, episode 33 on this last day of April, 30th of April. Summer has arrived, at least in Germany. 24, 25 degrees here in Cologne. I checked, it's similar in Saarbrücken. Glasgow is not really there, but getting
Hey,
close.
it's 22 today. It's pretty good,
Okay.
That's actually really good.
which is almost the hottest that we kind of get. Like, there'll maybe be 2 days that we'll get like 28, but if we get somewhere in the mid 20s, we are delighted. So, yeah, I've got my shorts on.
So as you can see and as you can hear, Kirsty Gilmore is back. Nice to have you have you back for this episode, and also Marvin Seidel with
Hello.
us today. Guys, so Kirsty, you're in Glasgow. Marvin, are you in Saarbrücken?
Yes, I am in Saarbrücken.
Perfect. How's it going? How's life? Kirsty, how's the new house?
And new house is great. Super happy with it. Yeah, where has April gone? It's been fast. But yeah, so I've been house moving. We'll come on to it later, but recovering from Europeans, all that fun stuff. So yeah, back in training now and trying to just balance everything, which is tough, but happening.
Yeah, where has April gone is basically so true. It's already the fourth episode since we made our little comeback for season 2. So yeah, 4 weeks. We met in Horsens lately, and that's actually where I want to start with because Kirsty, we haven't talked about it yet. Um, you went there, you got that silver medal. You had some, let's say, issues during that week. How was your week, and where does this whole tournament experience rank in your like all the tournaments you've played, all the ECs?
Oh, one of the toughest, to be honest. Not physically like on the court. My game against Devon was physically quite tough. But kind of physically in the sense that I was carrying an injury and mentally tough in that I was just trying to get through the tournament, and also dealing with all the house buying admin at the same time, trying to get the hotel to print off legal forms and I was gonna DHL like courier some things back to Scotland because it has to be the wet ink version. You can't scan things in 2025 yet. So that was fun, but I had to send it home on a flight with Rachel Sugden actually. That was the quickest way to get it home. So yeah, it
Career.
was yeah, private personal courier. She handed it off to my girlfriend. It was perfect. Um,
Perfect.
door to door. But yeah, yeah. Amongst all that, if someone had told me on the Tuesday when I had a little cry at training, my back was sore and I just couldn't, I could barely move around in training. If someone had said, you'll go home with another silver medal, I would have signed on that dotted line immediately. That was kind of more than I thought that week would end with for me. So yeah, I'm super happy with how I managed to kind of rally and manage my brain and my body that week and kind of hold on with my fingernails through it. I'm still not 100% healthy from it, but we're dealing with it. and it's going to be fine. I had a scan and it said that I've not done any kind of new damage or anything, and I've not got significant what would it be, damage or change since my last scan in 2022. So the last 3 years of slamming around a badminton court hasn't done too much damage to my
That's
spinal
good news.
column. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good. And it kind of gives me peace of mind going forward for the next, 3 years if I can make my career last that long.
But does it mean you will have to deal with the pain, or is there any chance that it gets better?
It should get better. There's been like a small kind of a bit like what would it be like a pinpoint bit of damage, but that should just heal, and it should be. I should come out of the other side of this pain, and then the like significant damage shouldn't be significant damage going forward. So hopefully I don't have to just live in this amount of pain.
Yeah. So the physical part of the week was quite tough, but you also said the mental part was obviously also a struggle, due to that physical damage that was going on, but maybe also the tournament being like everybody going into a tournament knowing this is a huge chance for everyone else but Carolina because she wasn't there. How big was that in your head, and how did you deal with that when your back was kind of stopping you on court?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the women's singles draw was acutely aware that Carolina wasn't there, and it was everyone's best chance to stand on the top of that podium. And myself, I probably felt that the most, having been the one that's come so close the most amount of times. But every Europeans, I think we look at Europeans as like a one thing, but every single time Europeans comes round, it's a different set of circumstances. I'm different, the opponents are different, the hall is different. Like, I think we always kind of lump any tournament together with its previous ones, where in actual fact, it's all just completely separate to a certain extent. So I knew what I had in me for that week. So I didn't look at it as my best chance to stand on top of that podium the way that I felt in my body and in my head. But yeah, I think I got the absolute maximum and the most out of that week that I possibly could.
Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on what you actually tell yourself, like during the match when you feel the pain and you know you can't move like you normally do, and like I have to adjust here a little bit and there, and like do you try to just push it away as far as possible and just do your best, or is it okay, I know this is an issue, so I actually try to adapt my tactics to it, or like what are your actual ways of dealing with it? Because especially when I talk with younger players, I think they got so caught up in I have pain here that they forget about playing. So I would really like to know how you deal with it.
I think a lot of it for me is like kind of subconscious, because I kind of know that I can get on that court and I can do most things, and it's up to my opponent to hurt me. Kind of, there's nothing I can do like to avoid it myself. But I think subconsciously, I think I was avoiding like really big, my full power smashes. I think I did a lot of kind of just with my arm and hand, like stick smashes. I think I probably jump smashed a lot less that week. And that kind of changes your playing style. So I kind of wanted to have initiative because I didn't want to be the one that's getting like pulled around the court in defense and scraping things. So I wanted to be more in control of the rallies and on my terms. But without a full smash to kind of like finish it off. So it was interesting, like kind of tactically. But when your opponent puts you in the round ahead corner, you need to go to the round ahead corner and you just need to do it. So adrenaline really helps. It's so hard to get through pain in training, but especially with my back, because it wasn't getting like necessarily worse throughout the week. It wasn't getting any better, but it wasn't getting like worse. Every time I stepped on court, I was like, right, this is gonna suck. But if I'm gonna, quite often you have to weigh up if you're gonna push through it or if you're gonna throw in the towel, if you know that expression. If you're gonna just
Yeah.
say enough's enough. And a continental championships without Carolina Marin is probably a time where you're gonna push through some pain and risk, take a little risk. So I think I just decided to do that. As like with each round that came, like, well, I'm here. I might as well go 100% in. There's no point in going in, playing to live in and being like, oh, I'll stop. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So I think that was a lot of it. Yeah, and then I was getting 2 physio sessions a day, which is, luxury for me because we didn't even have a physio with us. So I was seeing the tournament physio, and she really got me through that week. So that was great.
Nice.
Shout out
very
to her.
cool to hear. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, shout out to Katrina.
Shout out to every physio actually on the tournaments, because
Yeah,
they are sometimes having crazy work hours. Like, it's ridiculous. And actually so many more players than you would think push through weeks like Kirsty did there. Like at the World Tour, we see it every week basically, that people have bandages and whatever, and you just see, okay, there might be something, but actually even when you have a really close look at it, you almost can't tell that they are in immense pain sometimes. But then off court, you see them walk like, I almost can't move. And then, of course, the doctors and physios, they do a good job there.
definitely. That's been my week this week. Like, I can actually move okay on court when it's like quite steady and like, but I've got like kind of full range of motion on a lot of things. But turning over in bed at night, oh God, it's the worst. Or like being still and sitting right now and standing up like relatively quickly. Oh, that would be so bad. But I can do a really good, round the head cross stick. So
The body is
doesn't
weird.
make sense. Yeah.
No.
We're getting old.
Shh, don't say that, please.
Krista's not here.
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
This is the senior section of the shuttle squad.
It's true.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, Marvin, how do you deal with it? Similar way?
Yeah, I think I try a little bit more in training also to, when I have something, to focus on, I still want to produce good quality and push through it when I think it makes sense. And that maybe over the years gave me a little bit of confidence that when I get pain in a tournament, I can still handle it in some kind of way. I think that's a big part of it. But I feel also that is something that really only came year after year a little bit more. While at the beginning I didn't know how to handle something where I actually had to adjust something in my technique suddenly. So I was just inexperienced.
Do you have an example?
Do I have an example? Shoulder pain is a good thing, for example, where you...
Let's leave it that way. Shoulder pain is a good thing. No, it is not.
No, but like you cannot move your arms so quick sometimes. You have to be a little bit slower with lifting it or earlier, and then you cannot just whack at it, but you have to use the wrist a little bit more, go a little bit more for angles. Also being okay with, I don't hit the winner on this one. It's a setup shot for the next one, but the mind has to be ready and the body obviously as well to work for the next one, although normally you would maybe just kill it. And like you can get frustrated very fast if you just want to do the same thing as you would do with a healthy shoulder. But then you have to adjust and you have to learn to do this. And when you did it a few times, then next time I can actually handle it. I know what to do and I can still perform and I can still win matches. And sometimes opponents don't even notice. This is also very funny sometimes that like you play and you think like, how can they not see that I can't do this or that? But yeah, that's just sometimes how it is.
I think also when you're like not a junior player, but just as you're going through your career, you kind of learn what's like okay pain, and you're just like, ah, that'll be fine. And then you know the ones that are like, oh God, that's not okay. Like,
Yeah,
one day your knee might be a little bit patchy and like or stiff, and you're like, yeah, that'll be fine. But then you could really go for a shot and feel something in your shoulder, and you're like, oh, oh no, that's a bad one. So there's
yeah.
some you just learn to know your body and like know whether it's just a small thing that'll ease by itself, or is it like gonna require some intervention?
Yeah, I can so much relate to this. It's crazy. Like sometimes you really like you make a step and it's painful, and it's actually a lot painful, but
Yeah,
somehow, yeah, it's fine, no problem. It's okay. But then there are other times where it's really like, oh
you're worried.
damn, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see how that goes. And then it's also difficult, like when you talk with family members, for example, and they talk about, I have a sore back or whatever, I have a pain here or there. And like you want to ask them questions because obviously you want to help. But they just don't know their body that well because they have not done as much exercise and as much physio treatment or whatever, and sometimes they don't even know which muscle is connected maybe, or it's just like, yeah, I have pain, but I can't describe it any
yeah.
more than that.
When I go to see the physio, I try to tell them
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. I'm like, okay, it's not like sharp needle pain. It's more like, when like TV static, but it's not numb, but it's like tingling, but it's not like a sharp pain. It's quite deep and achy, and I try to like, I wish I could put some like electrodes on their brain and put it on my brain, and then they can feel what I'm feeling.
Oh,
I
that would
really
be
try to
amazing.
describe it. I really try not to be like back sore.
Yeah.
That doesn't help them,
Yeah,
I think.
no.
So I try to get really specific.
Yeah, I think the better you describe it, the easier it is to work it out somehow. But yeah, what you said, Marvin, I think it's crazy what all those physios do actually. I mean, working for long hours is one thing, but then also like working with your hands, like like my thumbs would die sometimes when you do a massage or something and you do it for 10 minutes, like, okay, I have to stop, my hands are falling off. And what those guys are doing, oh, it's crazy. So respect.
Yeah, and they also
Um,
have to invest so much on the psychological level.
True, it's always
Like
talking while
they spend so much time with the
true.
athletes, and they always lie there and talk about something, and often also about feelings and this is bad or that is bad or this is super, whatever. But
Yeah, the
it's
physical therapy turns into kind of mental
yeah,
therapy
yeah,
sometimes.
It's
absolutely,
yeah, it's actually a huge can play a huge role.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Super interesting. Should
We
be
should get one on the
implemented
podcast at one point. Physio on the podcast.
for sure. So I mean, you probably know a lot of good physios, so you can let me know whom we should invite.
We will do that.
Yeah, wrapping up horse sense. Kirsty, then eventually you got that silver medal. A few sentences to your final match where Lena was just super focused, super straightforward. I was kind of thinking maybe she could be a little nervous because it's a final in front of the home crowd, fighting for your first gold, but she didn't really didn't really show any emotions until she
Yeah,
won.
there was a little patch where I thought, maybe I can sneak in here. Had a good run in the second set, but she was kind of too close to the end, I think.
Mm.
But yeah, the crowd was not on my side, which is to be expected when it's tough. So I think, I always look at it from my perspective, but if we look at it from Lena's perspective, she's played some great badminton in the last year, and for the stars to align and for it to be a home Europeans for Denmark and for Carolina to not be there. Like in terms of for Lena's career, that's great. That's like fairy tale stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, the odds were against me in the final, I think. And then Lena's had a more great performances since then. She beat Sindhu the other day. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's on a good run. So it was going to be tough to take that away from her. But yeah, did my best through what I had left at it. And yeah, oh God, the pictures of me on the podium, they're so sad. I did space out for a little while. Just to get you on the podium so fast.
Yes.
The shuttle hits the floor,
Immediately. Yeah.
celebration, sad face for me, and then it like immediately on the podium. And I like no time to register. I was like registering it in real time. And I remember I was just like staring at the floor. And then the pictures from that, such sad eyes, such a sad face. But
Yeah.
yeah, reflected now, and it's okay.
I mean, as you say, it's in that moment. And I saw you standing up there. We were filming, and I was like, oh, you can see that this one hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I say, like I've had some time to reflect, and
Yeah.
actually, silver was more than I could have hoped for that week if I really think about it. So it's okay.
Yeah. And as much as I would have loved to hear those bagpipes on that evening, I'm also kind of happy for Lena. I don't know her too well, but she's been also through a lot, and also not being nominated for the Olympics last year was probably really tough for her. And now getting that gold in front of the home crowd, maybe a little payback. Yeah. But what I wanted to ask you guys, Horstens, how did you like it there? And do you think this arena is a good arena to host the Thomas and Uber Cup? Because that's what's going to happen, apparently.
Oh, wow, like European level Thomas Uber Cup or world level?
World level.
World.
That's like it was a kind of a test event, and there were some BWF people around to see if it's a fit. What are your thoughts?
Wow. I thought Horstens was a nice little town or city. Is it a city? I think it might be
Probably
a
city.
Small city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was nice enough. I thought that the arena for the players was great. Like there was no drift. It was the perfect size of an arena. I really enjoyed it. But I don't know if there'll be enough for a world event. But I could be wrong.
I agree, especially when I think about some Thomas Uber Cups in Asia, where the hall on the last 3, maybe even 4 days is completely full with 15,000 people. It will take a lot of...
She always does this.
We have a lot of
I'm so
cat
sorry,
visitors.
Marvin.
No worries.
Yeah, sorry. You nearly saw a cat butthole there. I'm very sorry. No one wants to see that.
Yeah, so for all the heroes that couldn't see it, Kirsty just got a cat on her lap, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice. So I think it would be nice to have a bigger arena and more spectators for the final days. Imagine Denmark going into a final and there can only be 2,500 people or however many fit in there. I think they could fill the Royal Arena, for example, in Copenhagen with that, and that's a lot more people.
Yeah, but saying that, quite often we have these huge arenas and they're not entirely filled. This might give it a chance for like every single day to be almost at capacity. I know less people maybe overall can come see it, and maybe perhaps we do want the most amount of people to come and see badminton like in real life. But maybe from like day 2, the place could be packed because there's only limited seats. It would make it really exclusive. So that's maybe an angle that they're working with.
I totally get that. But in the end, I think it's still not the right approach for a big event like this.
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying, and I can understand the point, but yeah, in the end, when I then also think about ticket prices and stuff like this, like it, yeah, I think there should be enough spaces
Yeah.
for spectators.
Yeah, you want that kind of 4, 5, 6,000 people, on fire
Yeah.
in the finals and things.
Yeah, maybe we can do group stage in Horsens and then knock out in the Royal Arena in
Oh
Copenhagen.
yes, good idea.
Yeah, it's not the worst. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
No, true.
Yeah, let's see, maybe. Yeah, but I also liked it. I also liked the hall. It was really, really new. Also, really cool with the training hall right next to it with a lot of courts. So I think the potential is definitely there for some more tournaments in Horsens. But I was also concerned about the capacity for fans. But we will see. I think the final decision is not made yet, but it looked to me like there was a green light. We will see. So, but there's also jumping to the present. There's also a tournament going on right now, quite similar to the Thomas Nuber Cup. It's the Suleiman Cup, and to be honest, I'm not super hooked yet. Might be because there's not that many. I mean, there is European teams competing, but I feel like not really at full capacity. For example, France left all their stars at home. I also saw that England doesn't play with Ben and Sean. Germany skipped completely. Scotland isn't there. So yeah, how do you follow this tournament? Do you follow this tournament?
I just watched the highlights on Instagram, to be honest. I haven't seen much more. And I must also say that, like, when you look how few countries actually put their A team there, you must think about, okay, is the tournament schedule maybe too tight overall? Are there not enough gaps for training phases or just breaks? Is BWF really doing the very best to promote the highest performance in badminton, or is it just we do as much as possible and then whatever happens happens? Because I can't imagine that it's in their interest that the top players, especially from Europe, or some of the top players, are not there. Yeah, so I think it just shows that whenever we, the athletes, have the chance to skip something, then we normally also do it if there's not a real benefit for us. And unfortunately, as nice as a Suleiman Cup title for Germany would be, the chances of that happening is so low that we rather say, okay, we save the money and the effort also, and have a good time here at home, being able to train, and then focus on other tournaments. And of course, Korea, China, Indonesia, whatever, they will all go for it. But yeah, unfortunately, you can also almost say that maybe a group stage is then also not needed anymore. Just send the top 8 and they maybe all have a chance, but then that's also it.
Yeah, I think for us, it's more financial that we're not there. We would have to do the qualifying to get to the European mixed team champs, to then play the European mixed team champs to qualify for the Sudirman Cup. And then we just can't afford to send 10 players to 3 events
It's the same for
in
us.
1 year, to be honest. Yeah. So I think that really needs to be looked at too, because it's taking away chances for the smaller nations to compete at these high levels. And if I'm not wrong, they've changed the structure in my career time, because in 2013 we'd had the kind of like A group and B group, and Scotland won group like the B section, so we could never get into the A section because it is essentially, like you say, the top 8, or it was the top 12, I think, top
Maybe,
12
yeah.
ranked countries. And then so we came 13th in the world for Scotland is, that's pretty good. We'll take that, but we just don't even get to the chance to have a standing now that we have to go to 3 separate events in order to get a standing, a final standing. So, yeah, financial for us, and also having 3 events on a calendar that's already jam-packed. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. If there's a chance for especially small nations to skip it, they will. And for the, higher ranked players that come from nations that aren't necessarily don't have like depth and quality. Absolutely no offense to them, but like kind of like England currently, like it doesn't benefit Ben and Sean to go and play these top players when the rest of the team is struggling, and they need a break in the calendar. So yeah, I haven't really engaged with Cinnamon Cup that much. I've been checking the scores, but yeah, it's tough to get invested about Korea versus Algeria or whatever the one of the ties was, at the early stages. I'm sure that it'll get more exciting later on, but like we've talked about before, Thommy, like it'll end up when we get to the end stages, it's the same players playing the same players that they play in tournaments. Like what sets it apart from it being a team tournament, what makes it different? I feel like the badminton world might be running on a little bit of fatigue right now. The players and like the kind of maybe the interest from the fans, because there's just no end. No one gets a break and then gets to be like re-excited, reignited about something. It's kind of just like high stakes all the time, high stakes tournaments all year, and it's hard to stay excited year in, year out for the players and for the fans, I think.
I agree with that, especially when you also look at the biggest of all of them, like Super 1000 tournaments. Like the players, of course, look very much forward to them, and I guess also the fans. But apart from the maybe higher prize money and the word Super 1000, what does it set? Like, is the difference between a Super 750 and a Super 1000? Actually, there is no difference.
There's no difference.
And then when you look at how many there are, it's too much. And then like also the importance of the Super 1000, for example, get taken away a little bit by the others actually being equally difficult to win or easy for some. I think we can improve there.
Yeah, and the 1000 tournaments seem to always come kind of in week 3 or 4 of a trip or a run. So
Sometimes,
it's like who can kind of hang on. Oh, well, Malaysia's first, I suppose, and that's at the start of the run. But it's kind of, I think we're playing the game of who can hang on the longest currently and stay uninjured. But no one seems to be being able to do that very well. And then that's even before we get to start about the mental health of the players, and that's just not a recognized. I was going to say excuse. I didn't want to use the word excuse. A recognized reason for taking time out of the tour. So we're not really as primed on mental health as I'd like us to be in 2025. Now that we've been having these conversations for 10 years at least.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the fact that from a fan's perspective, and I can only talk about myself, but I'm getting less excited with the year going on because, as you said now, it's every week feels like more or less the same, even though if it's different levels of tournaments. And I feel like there's also, comparing it to tennis once again, I feel like I'm not following a lot, but you always get to know when those Grand Slam tournaments are. And somehow they make them stick out of the rest way better. And that's probably what kind of should be the goal for the 1000 events, for World Championships, and also for, I don't know, Sudirman Cup, for example. But yeah, we've talked about that a lot. So I have no solution for that. But yeah, the mental health thing also That could also be a special episode, actually, talking about that topic.
For me, actually, it would also be very interesting to hear from our listeners what they think about it. So if you guys listening think about texting us and sending your thoughts about like, hey, we think this or that would help the calendar to prioritize the big events a little bit more, we would love to hear it, because in the end, like, the fans also are one of the biggest part of why we do this and how badminton can improve. And would be really nice actually to get a few views from them.
Yeah. And also something, when I was trying to research, trying to research if Scotland participated in the qualification this year, but I couldn't find it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't know, I know that Germany didn't go because of the financial aspect, and also, as you say, Marvin, probably accepting that there's not a huge chance of making a deep run in that tournament, and then rather saving the money. But I'm also kind of surprised that countries like England or France still go, but not send their top athletes. Why then go, actually? So,
I mean, everybody can learn on these tournaments, and especially the younger players don't get the chance to play their very best that often. So it's a very good chance, and you for sure have 3 matches on a high level. So that was often a reason also for us to go, and we had some amazing wins on Thomas Uber Cups and Suleiman Cups. So that also can give you confidence and boost your career a little bit. So there's definitely reasons to go, even though you know your team won't win the championship. But of course, financially, you must be able to afford it. And right now in Germany, at least, we're struggling, to be honest. And it's good to see that England and France can do it from a European perspective. But in the end, I think we all agree on that it would be nicer if we all send our best team.
Yep. All right. Looking ahead, Marvin, you have your first tournament coming up in mixed doubles, as you revealed in our first episode here on season 2. Yes. You're going back into mixed with Tugn again. How excited are you to get back into a new discipline, and how are you preparing for it?
I'm very excited. Actually can't wait for it to start, to be honest. I don't really know what to think about it, because it's been 6 years since I've played an international tournament in mixed doubles, and luckily I can say I've almost always played mixed doubles in the league, which also last season I enjoyed a lot, and I played also many matches, so I'm not completely out of the mixed court feeling. But nevertheless, I think a tournament will be different, and nerves will probably be there that I haven't felt for a while, just from how it is to stand on court with women, and just also knowing that it's a new beginning. And how do I prepare? I think it's a lot more backcourt work that I'm doing right now. Some movement stuff that I want and need to improve at, and also feel that I already did, which is really nice. And I won't say too much. I didn't ask the question, Kirsty, with how to deal with situations, not being able to perform your best and having some pain somewhere, just because I wanted to enlighten the listeners, maybe also me a little bit. So maybe next week I can say more about that. Let's see how it goes. I'm nevertheless looking forward to it very much.
Also, just adrenaline and painkillers.
It's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's kind of completely different for you now, because you in men's doubles you mainly try to push to the net and work in the front court if possible, and now you have to do kind of the opposite in mixed. But are you still going to play some tournaments with Daniel, or are you just focusing only on mixed now? Because we were talking about so many tournaments and so much so much stress on your body and on your mind, and now Marvin is going back to playing two disciplines.
Yeah, no, when we talked about talked first about it, I said I actually almost don't ever want to play two disciplines at the same tournament, at least not in the beginning. And I also, for at least now Luxembourg, Denmark, and La Réunion, the three tournaments that we are going to play in the next 3 weeks, we also fixed that. So only mixed doubles for these three tournaments. But then USA and Canada, which we will play hopefully in the summer, I will play both disciplines. So there I will play with Daniel again. But right now, that is also the only time that I will play two disciplines. And then we have World Championships coming up a few weeks later, where I will only play men's doubles because we didn't have the chance yet to qualify for it, Tuk and me. So there are also only one discipline. And actually after that, it's planned that I will stop playing men's doubles, for the moment at least, completely. So I will only focus on mixed doubles and see how far we can get.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously, the question that you asked before you start new things, what are your goals going into that and starting something from scratch in the new discipline?
Yeah, first of all, a general thing is always to make the partnership work. That's actually the biggest goal that I have, because then I can almost trust that we will have success in some kind of way. But the very first thing is that we would make sure that we are on one path together, that we talk freely about everything, that we are open to each other, and feel like, okay, my partner actually wants to help me, and it's not I don't trust him, or I can't say this or that. But we really need to work on, okay, I can open up about everything, and we can share thoughts and make things work in some kind of way, even if it's difficult. And when we achieve that, we can talk about what our goals are in terms of where do we want to be in world ranking, and what tournaments do we want to win or whatever. But yeah, that's the very first thing that we want to achieve. And I think we had a great start to that already, Tuk and me. And I'm very confident that we will make that happen. And then my goal, of course, is to be on the world tour again, 100%, playing the biggest tournaments, being able to compete with the best in the world, being one of the best in the world. And that's definitely my goal, and our goal. It's a long way until then, for sure. Top 32 is not just reached overnight, so we will have to play many tournaments, I guess, until we are there. But we are ready to invest a lot of time and effort for that, and I'm looking forward to how it will go.
Amazing. Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to follow.
Yeah, thank you.
What are you thinking about? What tournaments? Maybe I can visit one or two of those in the future. That would be interesting. But yeah, Kirsty, what's next for you?
Next Tuesday I have the final of the Danish League. So we'll play against Højbjerg in Frederiksberg. So it's a team from Aarhus, Højbjerg, and a team from the very north of Denmark playing against each other in Copenhagen. So that'll be interesting. Everyone's fans are going to have to travel for it. So it's kind of neutral ground. Just kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, so final of Danish League, and then final of Czech League on the Saturday. Actually, I'll go home and then I'll go back out to the Czech Republic, play for my Czech team in the final, which will be, or the semis and the final. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Or
Such a successful team player.
I don't know.
For real?
I think it's just a final. So yeah, we're doing quite well with my teams this tournament. It's a nice feeling. Yeah, and then I think we've got 2 weeks at home, and then it is Singapore and Indonesia.
Nice.
Yeah, probably Marvin will reach out later to call you to join Saarbrücken, so they also make a final again next year.
I already did. I
Yeah.
already did.
And I'm fully booked.
Too many
Damn.
events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask too late.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I think let's wrap it up. Oh yeah, one more thing on my list that I have. When you'll be playing the mixed doubles in Luxembourg, I'm sure we will not see you performing a spin serve.
Yeah, damn. Final ban happened. Yeah. Unlucky for me. Actually, I think, wasn't it Luxembourg where
it all
wasn't
started?
that one of
True.
Yeah, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's at least where it caught everyone's attention. I don't know if
Yeah,
it started
yeah.
there. But that was a tournament where Markus Rinsoy performed it and scored like 9-10 points in a row against I don't know who. But
I think
Was it Canadian
Lo Ken
boys?
Han or something.
That
Sorry?
rings a bell. I thought he scored all the points against Canadian boys, or am I just making that up?
I think Singapore, but maybe
Singapore,
both. I
maybe.
don't know.
Yeah, no, maybe Singapore actually.
Yeah.
Red and
But,
white
yeah.
flag of some sort.
Yeah. Unfortunately banned now forever. So yeah.
Do you
I
think-
actually think fortunately. Like in the
I
beginning I
think it's
really wanted
correct.
it. Yeah, in the beginning I really wanted to try it, and I felt like I got it quite fast, or at least quicker than some others. But overall, I think it's good for the game that it got banned.
Could you imagine trying to get people to watch badminton and people are going up spin serving and the receiver is just patting it under the net because they can't return it? It doesn't look good for
No.
the
doesn't help.
sport as a whole to get out
No.
of the service situation. Yeah. So I'm in favor of the ban.
Yeah. I think everybody is.
Fair.
Yeah. I think
But do you think some people, because I don't know who said that lately, like some people will sneak it in every now and then, like not on a regular basis, but like
Actually, I should try it once. Like, I honestly should.
that's what I was thinking.
But-
No, like the chances that they will call it are so low because they will not see it as quickly, I guess.
I think maybe about a year ago, I think either Chris or Matt Grimley tried to put it into a tournament because they just wanted to see what the service judge's hand signal would be for it. Because if it's too high, it's like a parallel arm to the
That's
ground.
the reason.
If it's a double action, it's like a back and forward with their hands. So they wanted to see what the hand signal for spin serve would be. Yeah, I don't know. Is it just like a helicopter move? I don't know.
I have no clue. But that's a great reason to commit a fault on purpose. I want to see what the call looks like. Okay, nice. Shout out to the Grimleys.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Marvin, I think you should try it once.
Yeah. I'm
As a fan.
thinking a little bit about like what do my opponents then think about me? You know,
Yeah,
because
okay.
like, I know
kinda-
it's bad.
kind of it.
You know, so if an
Yeah.
opponent, if
Oh,
somebody
I-
listens and it's an opponent and he comes up to me and says, "Marvin, I'm okay if you try it." Official proposal
Agreed.
now. Any opponent that plays me, hey, I'm okay with you trying it because it's basically also a 50-50 thing if it's getting called or not. Then I will do it. Otherwise,
I think that's
Okay.
a fair rule. You're a very fair man.
I try.
But
to be.
also, it's going to be very different when you serve in mixed doubles, like a meter.
But it's possible. I've
Back.
tried it.
Of
Okay.
course you have.
Obviously, he has tried it. Perfect. All right, guys. If you don't have any other things, I think we just wrap it up for today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for
happy.
joining. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Once again. And yeah, have a great week. Enjoy the nice weather. And good luck in Luxembourg. Good luck for the Danish leagues finals.
Thank you,
And
yeah.
then
Thanks.
talk to you soon next week, I guess.
Talk to
Absolutely.
you guys soon. It's been a pleasure.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, and for all the followers, listeners, we will, as I said, we did some recording, some vlogging during the EC, and the first one with Christo is coming out this week, and the vlog on Kirsty will also follow soon. Still in the editing process, it takes a lot of time, but check out our YouTube and make sure not to miss it. Thanks for listening, and talk to you soon.
Peace.